In this video, let us understand flexible pavement and rigid pavement. We'll see their differences and understand what they are. First of all, flexible pavements. These are the pavements having low or negligible flexural strength and are flexible in their own structural action under the loads are known as flexible pavements. On the other hand, we have rigid pavements. Rigid pavements are those which contain great amount of flexural strength or flexural rigidity. In rigid pavements, the stresses are not transferred from grain to grain to the lower layers as in the ease of flexible pavement layers. Next, we have the comparison point initial cost. The initial cost of flexible pavement is much lower than that of rigid pavements. Next, we have lifespan. Lifespan of flexible pavement is about 15 years and that of rigid pavements is 30 years. Next is thickness. The thickness of flexible pavement is more as compared to rigid pavements. Next, we have joints. By joints, we mean that in flexible pavement, joints are not required at all, whereas in rigid pavements, joints are essentially required. Next, we have subgrade quality. Flexible pavement need a reasonably good subgrade quality, whereas for rigid pavements, a good subgrade is not a necessity. Next, we have durability. Flexible pavements are less durable, whereas rigid pavements are more durable. Next are stresses due to temperature. In flexible pavements, stresses are not induced due to temperature variations, whereas in rigid pavements, heavy stresses are induced when temperature varies. Next, we have repair work. Flexible pavement are much more easier to repair as compared to rigid pavements, which are way harder to repair. Next, we have the skill and supervision required on site. So, in flexible pavement, moderate skill and less supervision is required as compared to rigid pavements. Ease of doing underground work. In flexible pavements, it is easy to lay, locate, or repair underground pipes, whereas in rigid pavement, it is quite hard. Next, we have the point of quick opening after construction. Flexible pavement can be opened shortly to the traffic after construction, whereas rigid pavements require curing for construction and thus cause delay in opening to traffic. Being resilient means being strong enough to deal with change or shock. So, flexible pavements are more resilient to traffic loads. Then, the next point we have is traffic suitability. That is, on flexible pavements, all types of traffic is suitable, whereas for rigid pavements, iron wheeled traffic, that is the traffic which would have iron wheels, makes a lot of noise. The next comparison we have is corrugations. Corrugations mean getting wrinkled. In flexible pavements, corrugations are developed, whereas in rigid pavements, no corrugations are developed. Glare due to sunlight. This is an important point because while driving, we don't want glare to be shining on our eyes. So, flexible pavements do not usually cause glare due to reflected sunlight, whereas rigid pavements do. Next is maintenance cost. Flexible pavements have a high cost of maintenance, whereas rigid pavements have comparatively less cost required for maintenance. Thank you.